This was her first time riding in a ride-hailing car. She was shocked. The scene before her eyes filled her with fear. Seeing her best friend being drugged by a stranger, she was instantly overcome with fear. She dared not make a sound. Seeing that the bald man had not taken any action, she made a risky decision. She carefully grabbed the car door handle, preparing to jump out of the car. But when she moved slightly, the bald man suddenly stared coldly at Casey, and quickly put on a mask. Before Casey could react, he pounced on her. When they woke up again, they were locked in a small room, and the perverted driver who had kidnapped them walked in carrying a chair. He was dressed in black, wearing black-rimmed glasses, and seemed to have OCD. He wiped the chair with a handkerchief before sitting down. His elegant appearance contrasted sharply with his behavior. The three girls were anxious and confused, but the bald man scrutinized them with a sharp gaze. Ruth had plump thighs, and was wearing black stockings. She was worried that she was showing too much skin, and that the bald man might have certain thoughts, so she quietly pulled down her skirt. However, this backfired. Ruth struggled desperately, but was quickly dragged out. Elizabeth saw this and rushed to knock on the door, but the door was locked tight. Hearing the heart-wrenching screams outside, the two girls thought Ruth had been hurt. The next second, the bald man pushed Ruth back into the house. He shook his hand in disgust, and vomited in disgust. It turned out that Ruth was so terrified that she had wet her pants. This physical attack directly triggered the bald man's OCD. He didn't want to touch this dirty girl anymore, but this gave the other two girls a life-saving idea. They also quickly urinated, wetting their pants, trying to make the bald man feel disgusted. But after smelling the odor, the bald man took them to the bathroom, and scolded them for not being allowed to urinate anywhere. The word sacred stone immediately made the girls think of human sacrifice. Assuming the bald man was a member of a cult, and intended to sacrifice them to an evil god, the three girls grew increasingly afraid. But before long, they suddenly heard the door open again. The scene before them left them completely stunned. They backed up a few steps in fear. They were stunned by the woman in red before them. They couldn't believe their ears and eyes. What was happening? The three women were completely baffled. Just as they were feeling confused, the bald man suddenly returned to his normal appearance, and walked in. He sternly ordered them to enter the bathroom. This pervert made them thoroughly clean the toilet. At this point, the women in black stockings had noticed that the bald man seemed to have multiple personalities. They didn't know that this bald man actually had 23 different personalities. Among these 23 personalities, there was a dominant personality. This dominant personality controlled when the other personalities appeared.